outermost reaches of the universe, to the innermost planets of our solar system. This is Space, the Infinite Frontier, with your host,
Wilbert Gannon.
Hi everybody, Wilbert Gannon here, and welcome to Space, the Infinite Frontier. We've got a great show lined out for you. Joining us today, all the way from the University of Dallas, Dr. Richard P. Olenek. Welcome to the show, Doc.
Thanks, Wilbert. It's great to be here.
Well, let's start by asking a question. I just want to know, what's your favorite planet?
Well, Wilbert, I don't have a favorite. I find them all fascinating.
Mine's the sun. I mean, it always has been. I just like it because it's like the king of planets.
Well, actually, Wilbert, the sun's not a planet. It's actually a star.
Well, planet or star, when that thing burns out, we're all going to be dead.
That's true. But it won't burn out for a very long time. You see that it contains so much hydrogen that it has already been going for about 5 billion years. And at this rate, it should go for another 5 billion years.
Well, I sure hope so. So, in 5 billion years, what's going to happen to the sun?
Well, you see, Wilbert, once it runs out of hydrogen, it becomes a subgiant and then proceeds on to become a red giant. It then ejects its planetary nebula and cools off into a white dwarf.
Well, that's something else. Hey, Doctor, have you ever seen an eclipse?
Yes, I've seen many.
Well, I've seen a few myself, but what the heck is it all about?
Well, a solar eclipse actually occurs when the moon lies directly between the sun and Earth, so that the moon shadow falls on the Earth. People living within that moon shadow will see the sun blocked or partially blocked from that view. We can actually only see 3 types of solar eclipses: total solar, partial, and annular. Viewing eclipses basically comes down to the Earth's position and tilt accordance with the moon.
Hey, you know if you stare at an eclipse head on, it'll burn your eyes out.
Well, yes, it's not best to stare at the sun during an eclipse.
But it's hard not to. I mean, I once took a pair of binoculars and stared at the sun for over an hour.
Why would you do that?
Curiosity, I guess. Heck, I'm curious as a cat. I have a couple friends who call me Whiskers.
Because you're curious like a cat.
Yes. Well, Dr. Olenek, it has been a pleasure. We've covered a lot of ground, shared a few laughs. Thanks for coming in.
It's my pleasure, Wilbert.
He's a good kid. After a short break, astrophysicist Dr. Olson Asbury will be joining us to talk about our moon.
Hey, you say you're getting tired of lettuce and tomato hamburgers that don't quite make it? Then look at McDonald's new McDLT. I'm talking quarter pound of beef on the hot side. The new McDLT. Crisp lettuce and tomato on the cool side. The new McDLT. Cool crisp. The beef stays hot. The cool stays crisp. Put it together, you can't resist. Could be the best lettuce and tomato hamburger ever. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's new McDLT.
Welcome back to Space, the Infinite Frontier. Joining us now, Dr. Olson Asbury, all the way from Caltech. Greetings, Doctor.
Hello, it's great to be on your show, Wilbert.
Well, I hear you know a lot about the moon. Tell me, where did it come from?
Well, although we are not entirely sure where the moon came from, the most probable explanation is that a giant impact blasted the Earth's outer layers into orbit, where the material accreted to form the moon.
Well, that's something else. Now tell me, when Lance Armstrong...
Neil Armstrong.
Tomatoes, what's the difference? I mean, heck, come on. Anyways, when Lance Armstrong went to the moon, what did he find?
Well, the moon is geologically dead and covered by a thin layer of powdery soil and has many craters.
That's amazing.
Well, there's no air on the moon, and it has less gravity.
Did they at least go swimming in those big oceans? I know I would have.
Well, actually, there are no oceans on the moon. Those darker, smoother regions on the moon are called Maria. Mare is Latin for seas. Maria got their name because they look much like oceans from far away. Studies show that Maria were made by a flood of molten lava. Their dark color comes from the dense, iron-rich rock that rose up from the lunar mantle.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us today on Space, the Ultimate Frontier. See you next time.
9 planets are circling in a plane, and every one is different. Now let me just explain. Rolling around on their orbits like the tracks for a train. Oh yeah, they're chugging around the sun again and again and again. 9 planets are circling in a plane, and every one is different. Now let me just explain. Rolling around on their orbits like the tracks for a train. Oh yeah, they're chugging